Hey Motorheads, it's your boy MP coming to you live and direct from the Hell Mega headquarters out here in San Francisco, California. The car on the menu tonight is the BMW 1 Series, and why, to me, this car has been somewhat of a disappointment because I'm not really a BMW guy, as most of you might know. I don't like BMW as a brand, but I'm very particular about some of their cars. And this was actually a conversation I got into with a client today, and I'm going to tell you exactly why the BMW 1 Series doesn't really work for me. But before I get into the 1 Series, I want to talk to you about a car that basically the 1 Series was supposed to be like. This was BMW's chance to try to really get back in the small car game again. And I want to revisit the 1972 BMW 2002 Tii. Probably, I would have to say probably my top 15 cars of all time. It's a very iconic car for BMW. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of car enthusiasts, a lot of motorheads out there would definitely see this car as one of the groundbreaking cars for BMW in terms of mass production, mass sales. The car was absolutely stellar. I personally believe, and a lot of people tell you this as well, that the car was built originally not only to make headway on the market, but there's also a hot little car made back in the late 60s, early 70s called the Mini Cooper that was eating up a big market share, and I think BMW saw a niche for it and went ahead and built it in 2002, and it was a big success. They built the car until 1978, which was then replaced by today's BMW 3 Series. Now, the reason why I want to bring up this car, because this car to me is just like, still, if you can find a used one, by the way, this car will drive forever. It's a great drive, great, cute little design. But remember, this is a car that's definitely like wine. Cars and wine kind of go hand in hand. Year is very important sometimes. And the 2002's prime year was in 1972. It had these beautiful little round taillights that were kind of like an upside down peace sign. And that's my favorite year. I mean, that car is just out of this world. I mean, if you can come across one, I would say gobble it up. You can restore it. If it's in mint condition, it's worth buying. The car is just stellar. Now, when BMW made the 1 Series, again, this car came out because the Mini Cooper was doing well, the Audi A3 was doing well, the GTI, all these tiny little cars were doing really well, and they wanted to jump back into that market. The 3 Series was built to obviously compete with the A4 and the C Class, so the 1 Series was a hot idea, and I really do think that. Now, where they messed up, though, was 1, the price, 2, the design, exterior, interior, and 3, the overall purpose behind the car. So first, let's get into the price of the car because, well, let's break it down a little bit. Let's go hand in hand now. The motor in that car comes in 2 motor options, the 135 and the 128. Now, the 128 is a complete piece of junk, in my opinion. 230 horsepower, 200 foot-pounds of torque. Zippy at best, but for high 20s, low 30s, I don't know if that's really the direction you want to go. I'm not really hot on it. It doesn't really get me going. Now, the 135, though, this car is sensational in terms of a driving experience. I don't know, to be honest, and I hate to even openly admit it, I don't know at $35,000, $36,000 if you can find a faster car. I mean, we're talking about inline turbo, 300 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque, just nasty speed and power. I mean, the car is really, it is what BMW equals driving machine. That is essentially the driving machine. I mean, it's going to handle, outperform, I mean, great drive to BMW for making a fantastic driving machine again and again. Where I lack, though, is their continued mess up in terms of design. The 5 Series design has been a complete disgrace. The 3 Series 4-door has been a complete disgrace. And this car, to me, is like a nasty Z4 in the front, unfinished trunk in the back, horrible hoodline. I mean, the car could just use a complete start-over facelift. I think if they keep the motor, redo the design, you have something there. The problem with it, though, is not only is the exterior disgusting, the interior is just pathetic. I mean, a lot of plastic, pleather material, just cheap. No good. And I think that that's really sad because when you have something like the 2002 that was so iconic back in the 70s and really represent what BMW carried for so many years, when you try to recreate that, aren't you trying to improve the product? Aren't you trying to push the line? And I just don't think, I feel like BMW really dropped the ball with this, and it really makes me upset when people think the car has so much value because it's fast. That's not always what a car is completely about. Definitely you want performance and speed. And you're talking to a German car guy. Completely put those 1 and 2. But at the end of the day, don't you want build quality? Don't you want design? Don't you want some comfort, some utility, some technology? I mean, yeah, the car is going to have nav option and heated seats and all that stuff. But of course, they nitpick you, nickel and dime you on the price. It gets really expensive really quick, and by the time you take a 135 with the equipment you want, now you're looking in the mid 40s range. I can't create the value at that price point. Great things about the car. Obviously performance, we've hit that head. Driving around town, parking spots, they accomplish that. Fuel efficiency, even in that powerful motor, they accomplish that because there's no body weight there. You're not carrying everything around with you. Where they messed up, obviously, we've already covered that. And I just think that if you're in the market for a tiny car, you'll be a lot happier and a bunch of other things out there. There's a lot of other things you can look at. You can't look at anything exactly like that, though. That is a very unique kind of a car because it's a very tiny two-door sedan kind of a thing, a two-door coupe. It's not a hatchback, but I don't get it. I'm not into it. I'm not hot on it. If you're a track driver, I don't even need to talk to the track drivers. You already know murders it. If you're just putzing around town, maybe the 128 is worth it. I don't think that from a performance standpoint, very good. Gets good fuel efficiency, good to park. But at the end of the day, I think that you'll be much happier in a 1972, 2002 Tii than you would be in a 2009/2010 1 Series. And that is a problem to me. So in the meantime, keep on motoring and hopefully they'll correct their problems.